What? What the fuck is this?
Day 4 being canceled. Let's go get a hair transplant.
Is this guy trying to like slide into the misunderstood tragic hero trope? Does bro think he's Batman?
Fuck you! Motherfucker.
No. Who does this guy actually think he is? Can I remind you guys that the accusations against this guy are those of sexual assault? And look, I'm not one for cancel culture. I don't believe that somebody should be cancelled and have their career ruined purely based off of accusations, because that sets a really dangerous precedent. Being able to cancel somebody just based off accusations means if somebody decides they just don't like somebody else, they can accuse them of really heinous crimes and ruin their entire career that they spent building up. Which is why I thought it was super important to hear Mizkif's side of the story before passing any judgment on the situation. The only thing is, we've heard Mizkif's side of the story, and it didn't help his case at all.
We went to get food at BJ's, a common place where we would get food, and then we went back to her house. We cuddled for about 30 minutes and started to kiss. She said that she was okay with this on her stream, and I started to advance to the next stage because I thought that's what she wanted. She yelped, and I immediately sprung up and was scared if I did anything wrong, or did wrong in general. I got scared and left the house. I apologize if that made Emmy uncomfortable for me not saying sorry, and I wish I said sorry back then.
Do you know how many people I've dealt with in the last 3 days genuinely defending this response from Mizkif? I'm gonna pull up an example in a second, but just a quick reminder to refresh everybody's memory. This is Emiru's recounting of this story.
A week after this breakup, he asked to come over to my house and talk for closure. He came to my house and I was crying like crazy because the emotions were just very high because I was dealing with a lot of major shifts in my life as a result of me attempting to start to try to distance myself from him. So yeah, we were just talking and I was crying a lot. He started to try to comfort me by hugging me while I was sitting on the couch and holding me really close to him. And when this was happening, we hadn't talked in quite a while, and I'm usually very uncomfortable with being touched a lot by people that I'm not in a relationship with. But I let him hold me while I was crying, and he started kissing me in my face, and I let him do it. I was still sobbing a lot. And then suddenly he tried to climb on top of me and aggressively shoved his hand down my pants, and I screamed. Yeah. And when I screamed, he jumped off me like a cat, and instead of apologizing or checking if I was okay, he said, "I feel weird now. I feel like I did something wrong. I have to go." And he immediately left my house while I was still crying.
Can somebody explain to me how Mizkif's response rejects Emiru's story in any way, shape, and form? All he really did when talking about this situation was retell the exact same story Emiru told, except in significantly less detail to make it sound like what he did wasn't that bad. And while most people didn't fall for him downplaying the story, some people ate that shit up. This is a real comment that I got on my channel. Now, I'm not going to read you out this whole thing because this shit is an essay, but I'm going to read you out the bits that are important, because if this is the sentiment that Mizkif fans are still holding, then it makes sense why Mizkif would feel comfortable to post videos self-victimizing himself after this situation.
You must be socially inept or have never had a long-term relationship. While I think consent is super important, you also have to consider he was in his ex-girlfriend's bed kissing her.
So that means he doesn't need to get consent because he was in his bed kissing her?
While he should have considered the sensitivity of the subject and made sure she was on the same page before acting.
So while he should have gotten consent, yeah.
According to birth parties, he misjudged the room and instantly withdrew when she made it clear she wasn't interested. Not every time you're engaging with someone romantically, let alone a long-term partner, will you pause your affectionate, passionate moment with a conversation or dialogue.
So, because it was his ex-girlfriend, and because he only managed to get as far as sticking his hand down her pants, that makes it okay.
Again, I don't know if you've never had a relationship or haven't had a lot of sexual experiences, but a lot of the times you and your partner can be super emotional, most commonly with makeup sex or emotional spirited intercourse. We also don't know the rest of their relationship dynamics, so we aren't even sure if this was like a normal or regular occurrence, or the way they would usually initiate intercourse was solely unique to take advantage of her.
If this was a normal or regular occurrence in their relationship, why did she bring it up? Maybe, just maybe, stay with me now, she brought it up because there's actually a problem with it, and Mizkif touched her inappropriately with no consent, meaning she was sexually assaulted. Mizkif thinking that it was okay because they were kissing and he wanted to advance to the next stage isn't consent. And if somebody imposes a sexual act on somebody else without consent, that is sexual assault. In every case. But because people like this exist, Mizkif can post videos like this on Instagram.
Day 4 being canceled. Let's go get a hair transplant.
And still garner some kind of support. If Mizkif just stayed dead silent on the situation and filed his lawsuit as he'd go on to do anyway, even if everything Emiru said was true, you'd have to take it with a grain of salt before hearing both sides of the story. And even in that scenario still, while I don't think it would have been okay for him to get cancelled in that situation before hearing out his side, he still can't go onto social media and post videos making light of and belittling the situation. But that's my take on this update. Let me know what y'all think about this. If you disagree and want to let me hear about it, feel free, bro. But if you're new here and you haven't liked and subscribed, please consider doing so, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Peace.